Welcome, everyone. It is weekend wind down with Nancy. I am excited today because I have new guests on. But before I get started, for those of you who don't know me, hi, Darcy. I'm Nancy Ganzakoffer, business coach to creative entrepreneurs, interior designers and coaches and artists and web designers and all kinds of fun people that I'm helping build their business. And this week I had exciting news. I am full up on one-on-one coaching. So I'll be starting a group soon called the Leadership and Sales Academy for Interior Designers. Wanted to let you know what I'm drinking today before I bring my first guest on, Mawhinney. I'm drinking a Kendall Jackson Grand Reserve Chardonnay. So cheers to everyone. It's been a long week and it's cold here in New York. Let me see if I can invite Mark in and see if we can get this going. Cross my fingers and toes and make sure that this works right. Oh, I hear you already. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Nancy. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We made it work.
We made it work every week. I cross my fingers and toes, but I don't have my Cracker Jack VA on with me today, so I'm going to share with my business page and my private group, Actionable Entrepreneurs. Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Well, first of all, I take pretty much any interview that's offered to me, but then you mentioned wine. You had me at wine. I'm like, I'm a coach, and essentially I'm a business coach, and that's who I help other coaches get more clients without paid advertising is my thing. So that's it in a nutshell. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm in my 5th year now, so it's time flies.
And you're rocking it. Tell everyone, I know you only accept other coaches in your group for the most part, but tell everybody how large your group is, your private group.
The Facebook group is close to 10,000. I think we're 9,500-ish. So we will accept other people. I should mention there are people in there that are aspiring coaches. Maybe they're thinking about it, or they service coaches. They do something to help coaches. So we will let other people in there. But for the most part, obviously, it's a group about coaching. It's called the Coaching Jungle, thecoachingjungle.com if anyone wants to check it out. And yeah, it's a great group of people. We're having a lot of fun.
It's a great group of people. It's so active in there, even when you're not in there at this point with 9,000 people. There's people asking questions every day. I ask questions here and there when I need resources that I'm looking for, because it's great to get referrals.
It is, yeah. So a lot of people have gotten business from the group, but I take an abundance mindset where I'm like, great, Nancy got clients from the group, but she's providing value, she's helping them. There's no way I can work with 10,000 people as much as I would love to. I hired an OBM or VA team, but we still can't handle 10,000. So if there's other coaches getting business from there, hey, that's great. That helps the community as a whole.
Yeah, and that's part of what I wanted to talk to you today about, because even with the interior designers that I coach or the other entrepreneurs, because I don't coach just coaches, I'm kind of heavy in the interior design world. I'm always telling them, and you're right, it's a buzzword, like be authentic, be yourself. Stop looking at everyone else's personality. You can look at what they've done and look at how they've grown their business successfully and duplicate their systems, but you still have to be yourself, like not copy their words, not copy exactly what they're doing, their emails, etc. So you've done that really well, which is why I wanted to bring you on.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for market research and having people you follow if you're on lists of people that you like. The problem is if you're following certain gurus, and then even if you like their stuff, you start to sound a lot like them. So the example I always give is after Tony Robbins released his documentary on Netflix. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? I'm Not Your Guru. Well, anyone who's seen that documentary, Robbins drops the F-bomb every second word. It's, F this, F that, or whatever. So, holy geez, I've read his books. I don't remember F-bombs. But anyways, that's fine. What happened the weeks after Tony's documentary came out, talking like we're best friends, Tone.
Come on, you have him over for lunch. I know you do.
Yeah, we have a fire pit of coals in the back. We walk in there. So, no, but after Tony Robbins released his documentary with all those F-bombs, all these coaches I saw were talking like that. It's, if you don't go for your effing dreams, you're an effing piece of crap. They're just like a lot of stuff there. It was F this, F that. And if that's your personality, hey, that's fine. Like, my language can be saucy at times. You've done calls with me, you know, that I joke around and I'll do that. But that being said, I'm not dropping F-bombs ever. If I was talking like that, you'd think, where's Mark? What did you do with him, right?
Right.
So me, I've got a weird, dry Canadian sense of humor where I'll make jokes. My 9-year-old son says stupid dad jokes or whatever. He rolls his eyes, make dumb jokes and puns, and people know I like Star Wars and Superman and stuff like that, but that's part of my personality. It works for me. If I tried to talk like Tony Robbins or Brendan Bouchard or anyone else like that, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Your personality really comes across in your emails as well. And there's always this debate, newsletters versus emails in this day and age. Do you have an opinion on that?
I'm all for the emails that, well, do whatever works for you, but I'm not into the formal looking newsletter that looks like with a website with the fancy banners and all the social media buttons and everything else. So if anyone ever wants to check out my emails, you can join my list, naturalborncoaches.com, but you'll see that they're text based and they're no bells and whistles that way. I'm just keeping it very sparse, but I prefer it that way. I don't get into all that stuff. And for me, there's reasons for it. Deliverability is one of them, but I also think it seems a little more real. People are used to being marketed to 24/7 nowadays, especially online. And I think that they're really starting to repel against that. It's like, oh, come on. And especially me, I'm doing daily emails. So if I was doing daily emails with really salesy type stuff every day, then it wouldn't work. Now, that being said, I do a call to action every single email. It's just not the heavy arm twisting with the typical internet marketing speak that you see. Right. And I transition to more of a soft pitch. You know, I'll tell a story or a lesson or whatever, and I'll say, by the way, I go over this in greater detail in my blank program. Hop on over here to check it out, and then I give the link. And that works.
I like that in your emails.
Yeah, thank you.
And the fact that you have a daily email, how has that affected your list?
Well, I made close to $0 from email marketing prior to daily emails. I started daily emails in April 2016, and I was almost ready to give up on my email list because I was doing well with my other stuff where I was getting business, wasn't getting anything from email. I said, what the heck? So I did two things. It's not just a matter of doing daily emails, because if you're sending out daily emails that are bad or boring, it's not going to help a whole lot. Besides doing daily emails, you have to make sure that they're entertaining, that people look forward to them. And I also took the filter off and said, I'm just going to lay it out there and talk normal. So you don't want to have that internet marketing speak that we talked about with it, boring stuff, because people get enough of that anyways. I heard something funny this week. Most people treat their email list like a booty call. So, you know, a guy that'll text a girl every 3 or 4 weeks when he's horny or whatever. Most email marketers are like that. They'll only message your lists when they're horny for money, you know, for a sale or whatever. Right. They send that email out and people feel like it's a booty call. So the daily one is better, a better way of doing it.
Oh, that's an interesting analogy. I've never heard that one from you before.
We're talking about booty calls. Yeah. I can't take credit for it. It was Ben Settle. I read something that he had said. So Ben Settle, big daily email marketing guy. Ben came up with the booty call thing. So I can't take credit for that.
Oh, that's hysterical. Let me say hi to some people. If you can hear us well, like and share and give us some hearts and thumbs up. Hi, Mary. Hi, Cece. Mary said booty call. I don't know if you can see the comments. Hi, Vivian.
Is this
Amber? Right. I think I should have put a rating on this call with you.
Well,
so
the end
funny.
of the work week. It's late Friday. You've got people drinking and all that stuff.
Oh, you drinking your wine?
Booty call. I have really fancy wine. I think it was $15 bottle. Twist of Fate, it's called, which is white wine. So yes, I do have it, but I'm nursing it. I don't want things to get too crazy here. So.
Oh no, would it get crazy that fast?
I don't know. I'm not too of a drunk, but you never know.
Yeah, my boyfriend always says, you know, after your weekend wind down, you're kind of drunk. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I need to cut it down a little bit. So let's talk about sales. Sales as a coach, sales as any type of entrepreneur. Everybody is a salesperson. yet they resist it.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they don't want to feel like they're selling and being that annoying, smarmy salesperson, right? Which we all know, the typical used car salesman or door-to-door type sleazy salesman. Also, let's face it, it's scary. Humans don't like rejection. So a lot of people hold back doing that. And the problem is they're just giving out all this free stuff, but never asking for the business. And if you don't ask for the business, you're never going to make the sale. So I always say you have to remember that you've got to sell to help. You're not going to help people if you don't sell them. Early in my coaching career, I had a call with someone who was considering hiring me, and I didn't sell them. They end up hiring a coach who, frankly, isn't very good. I know her. She's full of shit. So anyways, we won't.
Jeez, I hope you don't say that about me behind my back.
Yeah. Her name is Nancy.
I'll kill you if I find out. I'm going to watch all your lives from now on.
I'm not a big fan of this coach. I could smell the BS a mile away, and I've known some people who've worked with her. And when I followed up with the potential client, she said, Mark, I end up hiring someone else, and I was going to message you. Sorry, I meant to message you. I said, oh, okay. I said, who are you working with? And she said this coach's name. I was like, oh, God. Because I knew you might as well just take your money and flush it down the toilet, with it. So I ended up doing her a disservice by not selling her hard enough when we had that call with it, because she probably wasted her money dealing with someone who's not very good at what she does. So you could look at it that way. You're being very selfish if you're not selling. If you're good at what you do, you owe it to that person to sell them. And there's right ways and wrong ways to do it. But I'm listened to something from Dan Kennedy before he was a genius. So if you haven't listened to or read Dan Kennedy's stuff, check it out. And he was telling a story one day how he was on a call working from home, and there's someone banging on his door, just like hammering the front door in the middle of the day. And he's like, gee, who is this? Is it, Jehovah's Witnesses or door-to-door salesman or something? And the person kept banging. He just ignored it. Well, anyways, this person then climbed his fence in the backyard and started banging on it. And what had happened was they had gone through a week of 110-degree weather. His whole backyard was on fire except for the water in the pool. And Dan Kennedy said he was very thankful that this fellow was there. He was. It went from being a potential nuisance, if it was a salesperson, to someone that he really wanted to see, obviously, because he kept his house from burning down. And that's what we want to be as entrepreneurs as well, as we want to be that resource to help people's houses from burning down, whatever we're doing as coaches or online entrepreneurs. So we're not actually selling people, hurting them. You're actually helping them. And I always remember that story from Dan Kennedy as well.
Yeah, that's a great story. And I always tell my clients, people they're so afraid to give information that people are just trying to get them for free all the time. And we'll talk about free versus paid consults in a minute. But I always say people don't hire you for information. They hire you for implementation. So you could give a lot of information away, but when they go to try to do it, they may just need that extra handheld to get them to the next point, fight them, whatever their mindset issues, their fear, organize it, be accountable. So give some information away to show that you actually can help them, like you're saying. Otherwise, I don't know about you, but if I go a couple of days without actually helping someone as a coach, I start to feel like, am I really valuable? I start to have palpitations. Like I have to call a client and see how they're doing. But you're there to provide a service. And if you don't put your service out there on a regular basis, no one's going to know you can help them.
Right. And you have to get really good determining where that free line to paid line should be. So the way I view it is you want to give enough free help that you're helping those people, because they have to know, like, and trust you. So if you're giving them some value, some things to help them, that's great. But then there has to be a line where you're actually charging for it. So you're not giving everything away for free, because you're not in business, you're volunteering essentially. And it took a little bit of experimentation, but I found a good mix. So with my Facebook group, you're in there. So I like to think that I give a lot of value and I help people. You can get a ton of stuff for free in there if you're going in. If you don't have the budget or you're not ready, that's fine. You're going to get a lot of help there. But to get the next step, you have to actually open your wallet and pay, Mark, with it. And I found a good mix for where I should have that line, and everyone has to find that as well. Unfortunately, most newer online entrepreneurs, the line is way too far shaded towards the free side, and they have to
Yes.
bring it back over to a little bit better balance.
Yeah, but I do think in the beginning, I mean, I gave a ton of free consults in the beginning until I had a large enough following and gave enough free in my own way, right? So I have a group like you have, not like you have 9,000 people. I have like 550. But I
But you have
give
a great group. Don't sell yourself short. I'm in there, so.
I do love my group, and I'm in there every day doing a Facebook Live and making additional posts and giving away stuff for free. So if anyone wants to be in there who's not already, it's actionableentrepreneurs.com. My tip from Mark that I implemented, which I loved, which was to buy the URL that matched the name of my group. This way it takes you right there. But I give a lot of value in there, and I give a lot of value to my email list. But at some point, because I was on a decent amount of podcasts and I do a lot of webinars, all for free, my calendar was getting jammed. So I just switched over to, and I know we've talked about this, to a reduced cost paid consult where I'm getting paid for my time. I can give freely, not that I ever didn't anyway, and that was probably part of the problem. I went from 20 minutes to a 50-minute, really giving you solid advice after finding out who you are and what you're struggling with. And that has been incredibly helpful to my calendar, to my business, to creating content, to connecting with my people. And I know you do it a little differently. So why don't you tell everyone how you do it?
I might be changing after hearing your results.
I really think you should, by the way.
Well, I'm not a fan of, I'm a coach, and I'm not a fan of what a lot of coaches are doing. There's a well-known book in our world, which is a great book. I agree with 90% of the stuff that's in there, The Prosperous Coach. But that's one thing that I actually disagree with the authors on, is they're very much for, you give these free marathon coaching sessions, 2 hours and stuff like that. And you knock their socks off with the whole coaching process, and then they're going to love you and hire you and refer people over. And I've seen enough cases where coaches get burnt out and frustrated. That's a ton of time to be doing 2 hours.
That's a ton of time.
Prep work, and then to book it and so on. When I started, my calls were closer to an hour, which I think is too long because they weren't paid. You're being paid with what you're doing. Mine now are max 30 minutes. Most are 20 minutes. And it's not free coaching. It's to determine if we're a fit to work together going forward. Now I'm going to help them in there. I just had 2 of these calls today, and people got a lot from it. So they're going to get things from that, but I'm not spending hours and just giving them everything and hoping that they hire me. And much better that way. It's worked great, but my slots are shorter. Most of those calls are 20 minutes, and my calendar is, it's full, but not with 2-hour type calls, with it. So that's the way I do it. I've heard your way with the paid route, and that works great too. So it just depends, whatever you're feeling good about and works for you.
Yeah, and I think it depends on where you are in your business too. And my free was, they were 20 minutes, but I would stay on the phone for 15 minutes to an hour. So that was my problem. Like,
you're too nice.
I'm too nice.
I'm the Canadian and you're in New York. I'm supposed to be the nice one. You're supposed to be the rude one, right?
It's funny because I did run a group once, and I ran it with another coach, and each person got half an hour with each of us one-on-one as part of the group. And when they had the call with me, they actually wrote a comment like, I was scared to call Nancy. I thought she would be the tougher one. And I was actually not as tough as she thought I was going to be, which is really funny. I think I go tough sometimes and not other times. But
I love New Yorkers, by the way. If there's anyone from New York on here, I like New Yorkers because they're very direct. They're not BSing and stuff like that. In Canada, for the most part, we're too polite, and we're not always as direct as we should be. I can appreciate that about New Yorkers. They get to the point.
I do get to the point quite quickly, which is probably why I really didn't need more than 20 minutes as a free consult. And I noticed somebody got on my calendar today. I must be on a podcast where they can still get on my calendar for a free 20 minutes. And that's fine, but I'm going to be tighter about my 20 minutes this time. And then if they want to go further, you know, they go into the New York City. So yeah, my sister Vivian is saying New Yorkers are great. She's in Seattle right now though.
Um,
And Betsy and Darcy, you give tough love, Nancy, but exactly what one needs. Good. Yes. Darcy's one of my clients and she's doing fabulous. I hope your daughter's okay, Darcy. I know her daughter had the flu. I don't know if the flu is bad by you, Mark.
Actually, knock on wood, I haven't been sick all winter, which you'd think being on the east coast of Canada, but some people have had it, but no, I've been good. You know, you watch this weekend, I'll get terribly sick.
Oh my God, they just
or
jinxed you.
if we keep going with this, I'll be sick tomorrow.
No, alcohol kills everything. Don't you know that?
Yeah.
If you just drink every day, maybe you won't get sick. But no, you know what? I love sales. I love teaching sales. I love having people kind of stand in their own power and understand the flow of the sales conversation, and how you need to get somebody to kind of like their emotional need. I don't know how much you feel about that, but I feel like once you ask them, why are you looking for help now? And you get to the emotion behind why they've been reaching out to you, whether it's an interior designer or an entrepreneur or any entrepreneur, whatever they're selling by way of their own services or a product, people are buying for an emotional reason usually.
Yeah. And me, I'm a very good salesperson. I'll put an asterisk if I love what I'm selling. So with coaching, I do very well because I believe in it. I feel good about it and I have no problem with that. 5 or 6 years ago, I broke my rule, and I'm going to, besides offending New Yorkers, I'll offend multi-level marketers while we're at it.
Are there any multi-level marketers on here first? Okay, go ahead.
Anyone into MLM, if that's your thing, all the power to you. I am not a network marketer, MLMer. Yeah. It's not my thing. A very good salesperson that I know talked me into it back in early 2013. And he said, I've got this great thing. I said, I don't do MLM. And he said, oh, it's awesome. It's coffee and, you know, all this. I don't even drink coffee, which is another problem there. I don't like coffee and I don't like MLM. So
oh my goodness.
I said, okay. I said, I'm going to jump into it because this was before I got into coaching. I started coaching early 2014. And I absolutely sucked at it. I did a bunch of appointments and I was feeling not good about it. It wasn't my thing. And my results weren't there compared to coaching where I can sell it because I feel really good and I'm confident with what I do. So it's very important that you actually feel good about what you sell. If I went out there trying to sell encyclopedias door to door, if people still do that, I don't know, in 2018 with the internet, probably not. Or vacuum.
I don't think so.
Steak knives or anything like that, I would probably suck as a salesperson. But if I feel good about something, I can sell it. And I think that that's an important point.
Yeah, I've had friends reach out to me, you know, trying to get me to get a side gig of, you know, selling skincare products. You probably have a lot of women following you, and this would be a great additional income for you. And I'm like, are you nuts? Like, no. Yeah. Like, this is not
Bitcoin. Like, what the heck, cryptocurrency? I don't want to know what the heck Bitcoin is. No, I don't want to do it. You know, good luck with it if it's your thing, but it's not mine.
Yeah, you know what? With the stock market dropping here, I wonder what the Bitcoin has been doing. Just curious. I haven't even looked, but yeah,
like 7,000. It was at 20, I think, at its height. So I said to a friend, I was bugging him because he's big on Bitcoin. I said, what's the easiest way to get to $10,000 online? I said, it's to start with 20,000, put it into Bitcoin.
But no, the best way to get to a higher income is use your skill, put it towards your marketing, put it towards content, find your ideal target market and make your own money and not invest in these very risky new things. Like I've been watching Bitcoin, and my ex bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and I thought, I don't know about this.
Yeah. I mean, I joke around because I have a friend that's in it and stuff like that. And they'll say, well, that was super high. It'll correct, you know, it'll bounce back or whatever. But nobody really knows with cryptocurrency. But the thing is, if you're doing coaching or whatever you're doing online, when you start to divide your focus, instead of saying, okay, I'm not just going to do coaching, I'm going to build up a side thing in skincare or cryptocurrency or whatever, then it's muddying the waters because people are like, well, wait a minute, I thought Nancy was a business coach. I thought she helped entrepreneurs. Now she's doing skincare, stuff like that. And I'm the type, when I'm selling something, I want to hammer away at it. You've seen how I sell my stuff. I'm just constantly hammering away. But if I was switching it up, talking about Bitcoin one day and skincare and then something else and then on to something else, it wouldn't have the same effect with it. So I think it's important that people look at you and they know Nancy is a business coach, Mark does this or whatever. I always say that they should be able to look at you and it's almost like you have the word tattooed on your forehead. For me, hopefully it's coach or coaching. People see. I know people who are, I know a great webinar coach. Whenever I look at him, I think webinars. That's all I think, because that's all he talks about. He's very good at it. Book writing coach. I've helped some book writing coaches. I look at them, books. I know they help authors and so on.
That's actually a really good point. That's part of the reason why I closed down my other business 6 months ago, because I was an art consultant for 15 years to the interior designers here in the local area, New York tri-state area. And people started getting confused as to whether I was an art consultant or whether I was a coach. And I didn't love selling art anymore. And I love coaching. So I was like, you know what? Time to shut the doors, put 100% of my focus. I found I was getting annoyed when I got an art client, which is so bad.
Yeah. If you're annoyed by a client, or getting a client. So we're gonna have I'm gonna have a bunch of New Yorkers who are into Bitcoin hating me today, and they're sending like death threats and stuff like that. So
no, you're not.
Bitcoining New Yorkers, yeah.
Nonsense. We're not like that. All right. So final words with you. Where can people find you and exactly for what? And a last tip on how to really rock their sales.
Well, you can find me at naturalborncoaches.com. That's the main site, or thecoachingjungle.com will forward over to my Facebook group. A tip for sales, I think something that's really helpful is to choose a daily something. And what I mean by that is something that you're really good at, that you enjoy doing every day to get your message out there, your name, your face, whatever. So for the first 300 episodes of my podcast, Natural Born Coaches, it was a daily show. I did it daily. And wow. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Now it's a weekly frequency, which is much better. But now my daily thing is daily emails. So I've switched from daily podcast, that's now weekly, to daily emails. But with the podcast, I have people who 6 months into it were saying, Mark, I've been watching listening to your podcast for the last 5 years. And I love it. I'm like, no, you haven't, because it's been on for 6 months. But I crammed in about 10 years of podcasts into the first year, right? Or whatever. So if you could do a daily something, maybe if your thing's not writing, don't do daily emails because you won't enjoy it. You won't do it every day. Maybe it's daily Facebook Lives if you enjoy video, or daily something. But if you can commit to something daily, it is going to help you in the whole sales process. And I've seen it with my business and with clients of mine as well. So that would be one sales tip besides what we mentioned earlier about choosing something that you love and you feel good about. Choose a daily something and then just keep hammering it. Be consistent. Even if you're sick and your head is in the toilet, do it. And I actually had once when I had the flu during my podcast, and I had a garbage pail next to my microphone, and I thought, please God, don't let me throw up while I'm recording this interview. But I didn't cancel because it was a big name coach who I didn't want to have to wait 6 months to get him back on. So luckily I was fine. But the point was I made sure I was doing it every single day, rain or shine, or whether you're sick or healthy or whatever, you do it. And if you want it bad enough, you will do it. So there's my sales tip or tips.
That's a great tip, and really hard to do for a lot of people. It's kind of like committing to anything else that we try to do, eating better, exercising, keeping the house clean every day. Anytime you try to commit to doing something every day, a lot of the times they're faced with resistance, but the consistency is absolutely what changes. Me deciding to do this weekend wind down every Friday, people say to me, I can't believe you're doing that. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Mark. Doing it every single Friday, that I can do because I'm drinking wine. No.
But if you pick certain things, you can batch them. So podcasts, I'm not saying that you're actually recording a podcast every day. I recorded a bunch at once, and then I scheduled them out. My daily emails, I try to stay a week ahead. So if I get on a roll, I'll write 5 or 7 in a row, and then I schedule them to go out. So Facebook Lives, you can't do that unless you've got a clone or a puppet or something of yourself. You got to do those live, right? But a lot of things you can batch to do it, and that makes it much easier as well.
Well, you've seen my Facebook Lives in my group. I come on no makeup, ponytail some days. One day, was it last week? I did my natural hair, which is curly. And someone commented like, oh my God, curly Q, your hair got so short. I'm like, no, that's just not my natural hair. I didn't have time.
Jim hair don't care, or whatever they say. Yeah.
What is it?
Jim hair don't care.
Exactly. Well, now I've committed to doing my 40 minutes on the treadmill every day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be in a ponytail and no makeup a lot more often than I was before I
But
got back to exercising.
When I do my Facebook Lives and I'm just no makeup, I'm just going au naturel. So yeah.
Come on, men have it so much easier. You have it so much easier.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's true. We do. It's one of the few advantages of no, I'm just kidding. But being a man has certain disadvantages. That way is a great way. Like, you know what? We've got bedhead hair and stuff. We'll hop on Facebook Live, wearing boxers. Who cares? No one can see.
This is true. I am guilty of wearing, sweatpants or pajama pants or shorts in the summer down below, as long as I have a nice shirt on, although now I don't even bother. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's freezing in here. So thank everybody for watching. Everyone give us likes and hugs and share if this has been helpful to you. Mark, thank you so much for being with us here today. I really appreciate it. I'm in one of Mark's groups and learned so much about so much. I can't even tell you. I've learned so much about so much. I couldn't even, how to grow a Facebook group, how to interact, getting on some podcasts, taking your advice to get on more podcasts, working on that now. So it's all good. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be on your podcast.
Yes.
I don't know, May? What?
Yeah. I think it's coming up. Somewhere closer to summer, it'll be released. So yeah. Okay.
Because you got a waiting list there.
Yeah, you got to pay me $1,000 to get it released. I didn't tell you that.
That's our secret, remember? All right, I'm going to say goodbye to you now.
Nancy. Thanks to everyone. Have a great weekend, guys. And yeah, we'll see you later.
All right, thanks, Mark. I'm going to bounce you out and bring Julia in.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye. That was amazing. I hope you guys found that helpful. I love talking about sales and being authentic and standing in your own power. So please, if you have entrepreneurs on your friends list or in your group, like and share so that everyone can share in the fun. Julia, I'm looking for you now. Bringing on Julia Andrews for the second half of Weekend Wind Down with Nancy. For those of you who are watching now, I'm a business coach specializing in creative entrepreneurs, including interior designers and coaches. There she is. Hi, Julia.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me fine?
I can. I can hear you really well. So tell everyone who you are and where you are. And I think the weather's probably nicer than it is here in New York.
Yeah. So my name is Julia Andrews, not Julie Andrews.
And I keep saying Julie, I think every once in a while. I get confused.
No, it's Julia Andrews. And I'm in Southern California. So it's like, don't hate me, but it's like 75 degrees outside.
I already hate you for that. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. And what I do is I am a sales coach, but I want to separate myself from the pack. And because I believe that a sale starts with a relationship. I I call myself a professional relationship and sales strategist. So what I do is basically teach female entrepreneurs how to own, how to lead their sales conversation, feeling comfortable, feeling, secure, authentic, and how fun will they do it? So fun is a big part of my, how I teach to have the sales conversation.
It is fun. Like, I find sales fun, and so many people find it intimidating because I hate the word sales conversation. And I think I went over this in the summit I did for you, and we'll talk about that. Like, the designer sales formula is what I call it. I created my own formula to help people through that process of the sales conversation because it really is more about the relationship. So I love that you're distinguishing yourself like that.
Yeah, no, I think that, when people feel intimidated, it's because I believe that they feel like they have to put on this image or this persona of being somebody who they're not. So they feel like, they start rejecting that conversation before even before it even starts, you know what I mean? And demystifying or changing the dialogue around that it doesn't have to be that way is really, you know, a mission that I have, right? I've been selling for over 20 years. Actually, this year is my 20th second year. So I've seen the knocking on doors, the telemarketing, being on the phone, the hard sales, and then moving into a more of a sophisticated sales where you're really highlighting your knowledge, what you do, and aligning products and services with clients that will benefit from it versus trying to go at it and close every single sale that you know that comes across you. So I think that a lot of the thinking goes into the old ways of doing selling
Definitely.
versus the new way of doing selling in a way that is beneficial for your client first and foremost, and also having fun while you're doing it. And if you're doing something that you feel is benefiting your customer, your client, your prospect, I can't see that not feeling good and not being authentic while doing it.
It's true. I mean, I have an exercise. It's on my website called Your Business in Words, and it really gets to, it's a free exercise, guys. If you want to go to my website, nancyganzigoffer.com, you'll see it there, Your Business in Words. And it really is about getting to know who you are, not who you're trying to pretend to be.
Exactly. So it's really about, I think, a sales conversation. And just hear me out when I say this. It's a really intimate conversation because it brings out all your crap. It, like, if you're not feeling very worthy of it, it comes up. If you're feeling like you're charging a price that either undermines or overvalues whatever conversation or chatter you're having in your mind, it comes up. It's really true. It kind of brings up, it's like a mirror of yourself, seeing yourself. And if you're feeling very comfortable or uncomfortable in this case, it comes up. So it's really getting intimate with who you are. How do you like to do business? How do you like to, have an exchange with another person in your business? So I think it's more than anything, it's a little bit of a personal development. And if you don't want to go there, it's because you're avoiding something. I believe it. So it's really kind of looking and seeing, like, what's the chatter, what's the conversation that's on replay in your mind that has you avoid, neglect, or just downright not want to do any sales conversations, right?
It's totally true. I have clients who when I do my first initial consultation, they'll just go, should I be charging more? And okay, yes, you should be charging more if you're comparing yourself to everyone else. But if I told you, and I'm just going to pick a number off the top of my head, to go from $50 an hour to $200 an hour tomorrow, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, I'm terrified to ask for $200 an hour if you're an hourly person, or 0, no problem, I'm going to ask for it, I'm there. When you see that terrified look, and even if I tell them to go up from 50 to 75, if you're a 5, 6, 7, 8 or above, you're starting to hit some fears and some resistance. And I need to help you deal with that, as you do for your clients. What is causing that resistance? What is it saying to you when you try to increase your value? And then, what's your money story? What's your past? It's funny, right? I always say to somebody, when I was an art consultant, I would never hire an art consultant to bring art into my house because that's just wasn't me. But I had no problem asking people for the money I deserve to run my business, to have staff, pay for computers, be able to bring 500 pieces of art to somebody's home. Oh, Joe Hecker's here. Hi, Joe. Thanks for the hearts and the thumbs up. So it's understanding what it takes to be present and available for that person you're servicing. And it's not just about what you feel you're worth in 1 hour of your day, right?
Absolutely. I get a lot of, and I think this is perfect in terms of what we're discussing, but I get a lot of people that female entrepreneurs that come to me and say, you know what, Julia, I think I'm a great salesperson. I think I can really, I sell really well when it comes to selling for other people. But if I have to sell my own stuff, I get backed up, basically, or I get, in my head about it. So I do an exercise with them that that helps them kind of get out of their head a little bit. And I hope this may help the audience if they're having that issue. Typically, when I ask them, okay, so tell me what you do. And this works for people that are getting backed up in that area, that don't know how to explain it, or that are feeling like, I don't know if I should do this for myself. I really get it up in my head. I have them basically list between 10 or 20 or even 30, as many things that they can. I tell them to do a brain dump of the benefits that they do for their clients.
Great exercise.
Because what starts happening in that moment, you start writing out all the different things that you are providing that can impact another person's life. And if you really deep down know that you can help them, you're being selfish in not wanting to go there, because you're actually making it about you versus actually helping them with what is it that you can do very, very well. So that is an exercise that I do if they're not able to know how to explain what is it that they're doing, or they're giving you like a mile long or a paragraph long of what they do, or if they're simply having that conversation of like, I don't know if I should charge more. They're having a conversation of self-worth. And when they start seeing that how much they can actually benefit somebody, how much they can help somebody, how much they can serve somebody, that actually starts going away, because they really understand that they're valuable and that people are waiting to hear and they can make a difference. So that's something I usually do with my private clients, for sure.
That's a great exercise. And I do a similar thing. Just, do you realize how much it takes for you to actually be there for that client, and everything it took for you the knowledge you've gained from your past, the continuing education that you do, the trips that you take in order to learn more, right? How many webinars and podcasts, and you need a computer, you need to pay for that computer to be repaired, you need a phone, you need a car, you need gas, right? And then your exercise on every single thing that you actually do for that client for that money, when you list that out in ridiculous detail, and start to really let it sink in, it's amazing how you go, you know what? I actually do a ton for people. Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I also tell them, and I'll tell you a little story. I have a client. She's an amazing woman, and we had her put her talk together. But she was the classic case of somebody who had over 2 decades of experience in her field.
Wow.
She was not looking at it like when she was underpricing herself. She was not valuing everything that she was bringing to the table. So I asked her, how many years have you been doing this? And she told me like 21 or something like that. And I was like, you do understand that your potential client can go down the street and hire somebody that's had a year experience, but you have over 20 years of experience. You have to charge accordingly, because your answers bring the weight of the experience to the table.
Right.
So if you're completely dismissing that, you're undervaluing yourself. So I'm a true believer that your experience matches what you're charging. And the fact of the matter is, people that pay more attention. That's been always my experience.
That's true.
We raised their prices because they were really, really low. And we changed her conversation around. And now she came to me wanting to have 8 clients, and within 30 days she had 4 private clients. So she just needed kind of a roadmap, basically, because she had everything going for her. All she needed to do is organize it, basically. So
yeah, absolutely. And you know what, when someone's charging, well, I have 2 takes on this. I'm going to try to keep my thoughts straight because my brain is racing. I love talking about sales. So if you're inexperienced, and I do, like I told Mark, I have a lot of interior designers. If you're less experienced and you're charging less an hour, it's because you might take a little longer to source things. And even as a coach, I coach other coaches. If you're charging less, it's because you may feel like it's going to take you longer to move somebody. When you have that much experience, you're moving people faster. If you're an interior designer, you're sourcing and acting and you have your team set up, so you're going faster. So the client in the end pays the same amount of money because it averages out. So wait, let me see what Joe just said. What if you are doing all of that, list your pipe, I think you mean pricing, do crazy shit, but still can't people to sign up? I can't see all of your, I might have to go to my computer to see your entire message.
I can see a couple of questions there. I think it was from John, but still can get people to sign and pay the damn contracts.
Because, okay, well, I've talked to Joe about this already. This is definitely his resistance, because he's got a great show called Design Wall, and he'll correct me with the full name. And he should be getting sponsorships at this point and closing these deals, but he's great at what he does, and the numbers are on fire, and people should be knocking his door down, but he's a really nice guy.
Okay. I have if that's okay with you, I can chime in on that as well.
Absolutely.
Because he's not the only one that comes and says, you know what, Julia, I'm doing what I have to do. I provide great value. They're doing all these other things. And my very first question is, how do you qualify your clients? A lot of people are like, what do you mean? Like they think like I'm not, I'm like, what do I mean? Well, if you don't want to be having 30 minutes, 60 minutes, even 90-minute conversations with great people, just having great conversations, but making no sales, you absolutely have to qualify your audience. So I teach, anybody that knows me knows that I'm very big on qualifying people. So what I do is, I don't care if you're using an application process or a questionnaire, make sure that you're using it for intentionally, either bringing in the people that you want to serve and weeding out the people that don't even have the most even remote intention of buying from you, that are only like tire kickers, that are only just trying to get free stuff. And hey, I'm all for, free resources. That's no problem. But don't dance around your pricing. Don't dance around the fact that you're not cheap. Don't dance around those things. For instance, if somebody books a call with me, my questionnaire is almost, I would say it's designed to weed out the people that are not willing to answer all those questions. It's pretty heavy, and it's intentional, because I don't want to talk to people that are not committed. I don't want to waste their time, but I don't want them to waste mine. So you can do that with your questionnaires, with your applications, also with like however you interact with them. So if you have Facebook Lives, if you're marketing, your messaging, be polarizing, attract the people that want to work with you, be who you are and how you are, and have them, like and trust you. But at the same time, know that, like for instance, I'm not cheap. My services may not be the most expensive, but they're not, bottom of the barrel either. And, and I'm committed. I guarantee my products. And I know I get my clients results. So at the end of the day, when you're speaking about delivering results to someone, the pricing becomes irrelevant, because the investment they're doing in your services is what's going to get them to the other level that they're seeking to get to. So I'm very intentional with that. And I hope that helps, Joseph. And that also one thing you want to make sure that you're doing, not just for Joseph, but for anybody, That's why at the beginning of my conversations with clients, I'm very heavy on qualification. So let's say that the questionnaire, the application, just everything looks great, right? You're trying to do everything to avoid people that shouldn't be on the phone with you, but sometimes, they slip in,
Right.
right? So,
Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes. So basically, I'm very heavy on the front end of the conversation. So I ask questions that are divided in three parts. So I ask the questions about their life and who they are, etc. And then I go into the very technical questions about, what's their vision, what's their dream, what's happening, why haven't they gotten there, what's stopping them, what's keeping them stuck. I try to get so much information so that my third part of my conversation is more of a positioning. I'm positioning myself as the expert. I'm not coaching them, but I'm really diving in and putting myself as the solution, and I'm agitating the problem in a nice way, right? I'm not, making them feel bad or anything like that, but I'm really highlighting why they're on the phone with me and how we can move forward. When you do that in a very effective manner, when you're asking for the close, it's very easy. It's a conversation. It's not a push and pull.
It is just a conversation.
It's a conversation. I say, based on everything we discussed, I strongly recommend you step into this. How do you want to take care of it? I take a credit card or a debit card, however you want to do it.
Well, you're painting the vision. I mean, for me, I'm painting the vision of what they could be after working with me. And I think that's really the key for any entrepreneur. And if you're still watching, Joe is a very unique case. I will tell you that. Okay. So Joe is a master marketer. Will blow you and me away like you cannot believe. I learned to do this through him. But Joe likes to do what he likes to do. And sometimes that getting people to sign a contract is that, it's hard. It's hard, right? Because his contracts are big. So, but the value these people will get is astronomical. So I think that the advice we're all giving on the sales is that you prove your value, which you've done, and then you ask for the sale and ask for the payment because you want to be able to provide exposure for them. And avoiding that conversation over the phone is sometimes easy to do just by saying the numbers you're doing. This is what I could do for you. This is what I could do for you. But in the end, you're not going to be able to do it for them if they don't actually sign. So asking for the sale and asking and putting a deadline on it. And I know he said his rates are going up in April, which is good. But actually doing those sales calls directly himself, because he's the best marketer for his own business, is really key. Emily is saying qualifying the right clients is so important. Maybe I'm not as effective. It is important. And you know what? It has to be authentic to you. So a lot of people like Julia and Mark too, who I just had on the show, they have a questionnaire. And I know that a lot of interior designers do that as well. I don't do that. And I'll tell you why, because I did that once or twice after a webinar. And for some reason, they didn't fill out, people weren't filling out. And you could say, well, then they weren't my ideal client. But when I took the questionnaire away or the survey away and said, instead, get on a reduced call with me and let me just coach you for an hour. For me, I'm more effective speaking and giving. And then, so they didn't have that barrier between getting on my calendar. And my calendar blew up, and I ended up with a ton of people on my calendar, and a lot of them turned into clients because I could prove my value verbally or, virtually.
Well, that's another way. That's another way of qualifying. I mean,
absolutely.
You're basically saying, if you get out your credit card, I'll reduce my normal consultation and, however you want to apply it, but you're still qualifying because the person that's not willing to even pay a reduced fee on a call that would be regular price, way more, would not even get on the phone. So the person that does is a potential client.
Definitely.
They're definitely wanting more of you, even though it's costing them a little bit to get you on the phone. So qualifying can come in many different ways, but if that worked for you, perfect, use that. And depending, I guess, on the industry that you're in, that may play a role potentially. But any way you do it, you want to make sure that you are not getting on the phone with people that you shouldn't be on the phone with, bottom line.
Definitely. Bottom line, or going to their homes in the case of interior designers, getting all the way to their home and driving there and spending time with them to give them a taste of what you are like without, if you have a consultation fee. And what are they getting? Like Julia said, write down everything you're doing for them when you're there. And if you want to do a promotion and do a reduced cost consultation for some, around some type of a holiday or busy period, so you get more people, if they can take out their credit card to actually, do that, then at least they're actually serious about taking action. Right. And that's really, really important, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, I did free for a long time, and free will make you frazzled.
That's a good saying.
I just came up with it. Maybe I need to write it down. Free will make you frazzled, and you will have no balance in your life, and you will work constantly, and you won't be able to give the value to your paying clients the way you do if you don't keep a clean calendar, which is really, really important. Right. So Julia, before we end weekend wind down with Nancy, I love my weekly show. I don't think I could do it every day, but tell everyone how they can find you. Oh, wait, and you have the summit coming out. Did it start yet?
Oh, yeah. No, it starts. I have a summit called Sales Made Simple, and Nancy's on it, so you guys have to see it. And it's all about sales. It's called Sales Made Simple, how to attract your ideal clients, connect authentically and close without feeling, pushy or salesy or anything like that. It starts December 12th, and you can go on at the www.salesmadesimplelive.com.
It's on my page too, guys. Yeah, it's on my personal page.
Like that, super easy.
Nice banner.
And you can find me or get more information if you're interested by going to juliaandrews.com. That's juliaandrews.com.
Guys, I picture you singing at the top of a mountain.
Yeah. And once you land on my page, you can either, if you're interested, I'm going to send you a link actually with my my scheduling link if you like. But also for anybody that would like a little bit more of my methodology, what I'm about, on my website, there's a free ebook that I put together of 5 things that never say on a discovery call or a strategy call. And I took that from speaking, I think it was either 50 or 60 women. So this is it was very oh my God, I would never had imagined that they were having an issue kind of with this. So it's what not to say and what to say instead, and how to go about in your conversations. If you're feeling like you're not connecting or you're not converting, I think that would be a great gift to take. Yeah, by going to my website.
Yeah, and you know what, Julia, feel free after we're off to go into the comments and put those links for people to get to the summit. I know, am I day 1 or 2 of the interview series?
You're either 1 or 2, I think, but you're the first 2 days.
Okay, I'm one of the first 2 days, guys. Yeah. Hi, Mark. And it's funny when you talk about things. I'm going to grab your free PDF too when you post the link. I just did a Facebook Live in my group, Actionable Entrepreneurs, and I did it over 2 days. Of the words or phrases we say that make us appear not confident. It was an article that I had read, and I teach this to people all the time, but this article was so clear and concise. I think I have the notes right here. Are these it? Hopefully I'll be able to get it done. And am I making sense? Things like that. This may sound stupid, but I have this idea. Well, I went through, I don't know how many I had. There must have been 15 or 16. So guys, if you want to check out my Facebook Live, I may be wearing a ponytail and no makeup in my group, but go to actionableentrepreneurs.com and ask to join there. This is really a group where we're all entrepreneurs taking action every day to grow our businesses. And Julia, don't forget to put your links in the comments. And Mark,
right away.
if Mark is still watching, or I'll message him, make sure that I'll make sure he puts his links in too. So we're just about 5:29 now. Yay, this was such a good show.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being a guest here. And
my pleasure.
I'm looking forward to hearing what the other experts besides me have to say on your interview series. So guys, it's jam-packed with sales made simple tips, right? So if sales is still, thank you, PJ. Thanks, Reggie. If you guys are still struggling with sales, it really is all about knowing who you are, having, the right words to say, understanding your value, and so much more of figuring out what your sales conversation is for you. It is different for me. It is different for Julia, but we are here to help you figure out what those words are and how your presentation should be and what your onboarding sequence should be. So if you need either one of us, you can find us, me at nancyganzacoffer.com, and Julia, tell them again.
JuliaAndrews.com. Super simple.
And Mark, which was my first.
I'll put the link on so everybody can, have it there for them. So, yeah.
Perfect. And my first coach, Mark Mawhinney, is at naturalborncoaches.com, and we'll put that link in there too. So thank you so much. We can wind down, Julie. I know it's earlier for you. You're in California, but I have my wine and I didn't drink too much, so I won't be too bad when I go out to dinner. So thanks, everyone. Please share and like and pass on this great show that I do every Friday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Nancy Ganzacoffer, business coach to creative entrepreneurs, and I will see all you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.